A 17-year-old Florida boy unalives his mother 1 year after unaliving his father and claiming self-defense for both instances. Did Oklahoma drop the ball when they decided not to charge 17-year-old Collin Griffith with the murder of his father? Is Oklahoma responsible for the death of 39-year-old Catherine Griffith? Is Oklahoma going to reopen the case and determine whether or not the death of Collin's father was indeed self-defense? These situations seem a little too similar. The threats that came out of Collin Griffith's own mouth tell us everything that we need to know. I believe so, and I'm actually so incredibly excited to see who agrees with me. So with that, let's get into the story so we can begin a discussion in the comment section. Hi guys, welcome or welcome back. Thank you so much for being here. It's so greatly appreciated. It truly is. Before I get started, let me give you my usual disclaimer. This video is for educational purposes only. Please do not take what I say as fact. Please always do your own research and come to your own conclusions. Next, if you have not liked, subscribed, or commented yet, please consider doing so because it really helps me out and I really appreciate it. And to all of the new people that have been showing me so much love, thank you. I love you guys so much. I love every single one of you. I really do. And I see so many of your comments and it really does make my day. I promise you, it really does. So this is 17-year-old Collin Griffith. This is Sheriff Grady Judd of Polk County, Florida. I'm sure the majority of you guys, especially if you're true crime junkies, have seen Sheriff Judd at least a few times. But for those of you who have not come across him, the short explanation for who he is would be that he is the sheriff of Polk County, Florida, who is notorious for his press conferences about anybody that breaks the law. But the thing that is special about Sheriff Grady is that he's so real, okay? The thing that sets his press conferences aside from anybody else is that this guy does not mince words. He says what he means what he says, and I love that about him.
When you look at this, you see a kid. When I look at him, I see a psychopath.
And if you're a shitty person in Polk County, Florida, Sheriff Grady is probably going to do a press conference about you, and he's probably going to roast the crap out of you during it. Okay, so on September 11th, 2024, Collin Griffith was no exception. There's actually not a lot known about this story thus far because it is brand spanking new and because it has yet to be decided if Griffith will be charged as an adult. Which I think he should be because, you know, you do adult things, you deserve adult consequences. But, all right, let's just get into this, okay? I'm going to tell you everything that the public knows up to this point. And to be honest, if nothing more comes out, I'll probably be okay with it just because it really is such a horrible story. In February of 2023, Collin was living in Oklahoma with his father, Charles. He had actually been living in Oklahoma with his father ever since his parents' divorce in 2019. Charles and Catherine had 2 children together, Collin and Christopher, and at the time they were involved in an incredibly nasty custody battle over Collin. Christopher was the oldest kid and he was not part of this battle because he was an adult by this time, so it didn't really matter. Catherine says that Charles was alienating her from Collin by telling him horrible and negative things about her, that he would stalk her social media in an attempt to find out like bad things about her and hold them against her. She claimed that Charles was stalking her and harassing her, and as a result of this, caused her PTSD, and she asked the courts to issue a no-contact order for her ex. She claimed that after Collin opened up to his father about being gay, that Charles began refusing to allow the teen to leave the house, and this included attending school. That's a big issue for me in general. Side note, that is a huge issue for me in general because nobody should turn their back on their child for any reason, really, but especially that reason. It's so what? I don't understand this. I might never understand this because I guess it just, I don't know, it doesn't bother me. Catherine then asks the courts to order Charles to take Collin to therapy, claiming that he was suffering emotional, irreparable harm by his parental alienation of her and Collin. Charles responded to this claim in particular by saying that Collin was not interested in seeing his mother due to her abuse of drugs and alcohol. Going on to say that the reason he cut off contact between Collin and Catherine was because she texted him a handwritten unaliving letter in May of 2020. Going on to accuse Catherine of only calling her son when she was having a manic episode, and claiming that she would pose as an adult male on Discord, which I'm not on Discord. I've never been on Discord. I did want to look into it at some point, but I don't think that I'd even understand it. But from what I kind of understand, I think that it's like a live streaming service. So you could live stream and you can chat with other people. So Collin's father's claiming that Catherine would go onto this Discord, posing as an adult male, and write to Collin trying to convince him to run away from his father's house. If this is true, it's probably incredibly easy to trace. I'm also thinking she had some kind of mental illness along with the substance abuse issues. I also believe a portion of the claims from Charles might not be so far-fetched. And I'm only saying this because it's incredibly difficult for a mother to be separated from her child if that's not what the mother and the child want. So that's where I'm a little confused, because if this is what the both of you wanted, why didn't you just take him back? Why at 15 or 16 years old can Collin not just say, I want to live with my mom? There has to be something else. There just has to be. And it's not a money issue, in my opinion, and I'll get there in a few minutes, so just stick a pin in that. February 14, 2023, 15-year-old Collin Griffith calls police to tell him that he has unalived his father.
February 14th, 2023, Valentine's Day, Lincoln County, Oklahoma. Collin said that his dad pulled a knife on him, and he killed his dad. That's right. His father was named Charles. He shot him once in the chest and once in the head, and he claimed self-defense.
When police arrived, Collin tells them that he was arguing with his father and that he was forced to shoot his father in self-defense, claiming that he cornered him with a knife. Collin's arrest affidavit says that there is probable cause to believe that he had committed first-degree. Going on to say that Collin's claims of being cornered with the knife did not match the evidence. So Collin is arrested, and that's when Catherine steps in and posts a $50,000 bail. I don't know about you. I wish I did, but I can assure you I absolutely do not have $50,000 laying around. The case would later be dropped by the prosecution after they couldn't rule out self-defense.
Evan and Abby, this is part of that affidavit from the 2023 Lincoln County murder case. Collin Griffith was just 15 years old at the time. Now, the Lincoln County District Attorney says back then there was a legitimate case for self-defense, but with new evidence, he could take another look at this case and determine if it was really murder.
He used similar language to when he made the 911 call, 18 or 20 months earlier, when he shot and killed his father.
The sheriff of Polk County, Florida, does not believe 17-year-old Collin Griffith was forced to kill his mother out of self-defense. The 17-year-old is charged with murder and kidnapping in that case. Because of the similarities between this case and last year's shooting in Stroud that left Griffith's father dead, we asked Lincoln County's district attorney if that self-defense case is still open. Adam Painter says investigators went into the home where that shooting happened last February and found physical evidence to back up Griffith's story that his father cornered him with the knife and his only choice was to shoot. OSBI continued investigating the case and couldn't rule out self-defense, so charges were never filed. But Painter says the case isn't closed, and if anyone gives his office relevant and credible evidence, it would result in a reevaluation of the case.
The Lincoln County Sheriff's Office and the Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigations charged Collin with the first degree. They dropped the charges less than a month later. They said they could not disprove Collin's assertion of self-defense. So he was released. Well, when he was released in March of 23, just barely a month after the original of his father, he came to Charlotte County, Florida, to live with his mother. And when he came to live with his mother, Collin Griffith, who was 39, you would think things would be better. He would be really, really lucky that, hey, this was a self-defense and I'm here with mom. But 6 months later, guess what happened? He's Baker acted. So it's September, and as he's getting out of the original Baker Act, he makes a statement that, well, I'll kill myself, or I'll kill my mother by or stab her. Charlotte County re-Baker acts him the same exact day. They keep him 3 more days.
Killing comes a year after the 17-year-old killed his father in Lincoln County, Oklahoma, similarly after the two got into a fight.
I had a 15-year-old male caller on the phone, said that his dad had a knife and had him cornered and he had to shoot.
Despite killing his father, Griffith was never charged with a crime. In a statement sent to us by Lincoln County District Attorney Adam Painter, after evaluating all of the evidence and possible theories, it was determined that the District Attorney's Office could not rule out that Griffith acted in self-defense and did not file any charges. After that incident, the teen went to live with his mother in Florida. In August of last year, he was confined due to mental health concerns under a Florida law known as the Baker Act.
Collin was set free and Catherine was given back custody of her son. So she takes him back to Florida with her. September 2023, a school officer calls police to do a mental check on Collin after he says that his mother pulls a GUN on him during an argument.
September, Collier County deputies were called to this home on Astoria Avenue after Collin told his school's officer at FSW that his mother pulled a firearm on him and said she would kill him. The report says she asked Collin to take the gun from her and kill her. Deputies confirmed that the mother had a gun. In the report, the mother also said that Collin had complex post-traumatic stress disorder. She revealed that was because Collin's father, who he killed last year, had held him captive for more than 1,000 days with no human contact.
Okay. Going on to say that she also threatened to get rid of him and then get rid of herself. Catherine told police this was absolutely ridiculous, that Collin was only saying this because she took away his phone and his AirPods for failing his classes. Going on to tell police that Collin had been diagnosed with personality disorder and PTSD as a result of being held captive by his father for 1,041 days. This is when Collin was Baker acted and placed into protective custody. So for context, to be Baker acted means the act mandates that the court appoints an attorney to represent those who are involuntarily placed in a mental health program and conduct independent reviews every 6 months of involuntary placement. 8 days later, just prior to being released, Collin says that he will unalive his mother if he's forced to be returned to her custody, saying, I will unalive myself or my mom, throw them out of the car, or stab them. I've done it before to my dad. I know I can do it again. Following this, Catherine would end up sending Collin to a long-term facility in Jupiter, Florida. Several months into his stay, ready? Collin would end up being released from the facility and being sent back to live with his mom. November 2023, Collin is charged with DV for attacking Catherine, pulling her hair and kneeling on her private parts. After his arrest, Collin tells police that he's going to unalive his mother this time if he is forced to get in the car with her. Collin tries to claim self-defense, but his grandmother, who witnessed the incident, corroborated Catherine's story that he attacked her after she restricted his video games. Can you imagine?
Or 2 months later, this is November 2023. Collin then is arrested for domestic on his mother. And the reason he battered his mother is because she was disciplining him and took his video game privileges away, pushed her to the ground, and he stomped on her.
The mother, put a restriction on her son playing video games because he, I don't know, was failing out of school, and this is what he does. Collin ends up getting released to his mother again. And he's allowed to go live in the home with her as long as there's no more violent attacks. Well, that just solves everything, doesn't it? Like, that should just solve it all, shouldn't it? For real? Give me a break. What is with these people? I can't. February 2024, Collin runs away from his mother's house and goes to his grandmother's house. Okay.
3 months later, 12th of February in 2024, he has an argument with his mother, and he runs away from Charlotte County and comes back to Auburndale, his grandmother's house. Now, his grandmother's not there. And we got involved in this on the 12th of February, and the mother said, and the grandmother said, hey, we don't feel safe with him around. So our deputies who found him up here as a missing persons reported in Charlotte County turned him over to DCF. 2 days later, on the 14th of February, the anniversary of him killing his dad a year ago, he's reunited with his mother.
When officers arrived to bring him back to his mother, Collin tells police that he would rather unalive his mother than be reunited with her. Why do we keep reuniting them? That's when officers turn him over to Child Protective Services, as they should. So what does Child Protective Services do? They return Collin to his mother. September 8th, 2024, Catherine texts a neighbor. Here we go. Hey, neighbor. Please do not let Collin or the police into my home. I'm not opening my door, and according to my attorney, they have no authority to make me speak with them or to come into my house. Please do not come down and try to come in because they will try and follow you in if you unlock my door. I'm safe and fine. Collin just hates me, and honestly, I'm tired of this crap. Neighbor says, where are you, and how am I going to stop him? Don't give them the keys. I'm home in my room. Sounds like a plan. I'm going to sleep. I placed the bookshelf on the wall, weed-eated the backyard, and cleared out Collin's room. I'm exhausted and reading a book and sleeping. Hi, neighbor. If Collin texts you again, please tell him he needs to come home. He's violating his probation, which he was supposed to be off of as of October 6, 2024. But now he will never be because I'm meeting his probation officer Monday morning if he doesn't come home today by 10 a.m. He knows the time deadline and he's choosing to skip it and hide at my mom's house in Polk County, which is also a violation. Neighbor, what on earth is going on? That's what we don't like to know at this point, right? Mom has never backed down to help you. Collin, please help her out now. She needs. Sorry, I'm just a friend. I'm listening to both sides. This is the message I sent to Collin yesterday. Thank you. He's not coming home. Police will be by shortly to take a report for running away. Collin, Mom said you need to be home because you're violating your probation. Says validating. She means violating. He won't listen. Even detective told him he won't come home. I'm going to drive to get him. If he doesn't get in the car, then Polk County can deal with him.
So now we're to the fateful day on September 8th. Mom drives up here to Auburndale from Charlotte County. She arrives at 4 o'clock. At about 4:30, witnesses and neighbors see Collin and Mom arguing outside, and Collin grabs his mother by the hair and drags her into the house. Just about 2 hours later, that's when we receive a 911 call where Collin said, I've had a very, very long fight with Mom, and she fell on a knife and she's bleeding from the neck. Our investigation clearly and unequivocally shows that that circumstance did not occur like that. In fact, he used similar language to when he made the 911 call, 18 or 20 months earlier, when he shot and killed his father.
Catherine's final Facebook post is chilling and reads, yesterday, I turned 39. This last year has been a whirlwind of life events and memories. I'm thankful that no matter what I encounter or experience, I have family, friends, and a community of people who are here to support me, even on the days when I have not been the best me. Thank you to everyone who has helped me see that life is an adventure worth living and fighting for every day. Life lessons are just those, lessons. I've learned some of the hardest lessons in my 30s, but I'm vowing that my 39th year will be a year of living life to its fullest. Oh, Catherine. When Catherine arrives at her mom's house, it's around 4 p.m. Grandma's not there, but Collin is. Catherine and Collin begin to argue. 6:30 p.m., Collin makes a 911 call where he tells the operator that he and his mother got into an argument. He says that she charged at him with a knife and fell on it and it went through her neck. Okay. When police arrived, they said that Collin was outside, completely calm, walks up to the officers and says, I know my rights. I want an attorney.
It all started on September the 8th, which was this last Sunday, when we got a 911 call from Collin Griffith, who's 17 years of age. And here's what he said. He said he and his mother had a very long fight, and she fell on a knife and killed herself. And she's bleeding from the neck. He didn't say she just said he's bleeding from the neck. So our 911 operators appropriately were giving them instructions on how to do life-saving techniques. When we attempted the interview, he met the original deputy in the front yard. And he didn't say, Mom's in here, Mom's bleeding to death, Mom needs help. He looked the deputy in the eye and says, I know my rights, I want an attorney. He's dangerous. He showed zero remorse when he was being interviewed. In fact, when we attempted the interview, he met the original deputy in the front yard. And he didn't say, Mom's in here, Mom's bleeding to death, Mom needs help. He looked the deputy in the eye and says, I know my rights, I want an attorney. He is a dangerous human being. And we have him securely locked up, and we are working with the state attorney's office. We're putting the rest of the investigation together. We have began to talk to some of the family, which has confirmed that he is a dangerous person. Before I go to the second event, are there any questions?
Sure. Do you think the system failed him, that he should have never been out? I mean, after killing his father.
Well, so when you look at this and you see how violent, how dangerous he is, it makes you wonder to what extent and what depth of investigation was done, because they released him from that murder charge that was lodged apparently within a month or so, because they were shipping him to his mother that quick. Now, did they wrap it up in that short period of time, or did they just say, hey, take him home, and notified the family later that we're not going to charge him? I don't know. But it's important to be accountable and responsible for your own actions. My question is, was there anything else that could have been done? Because had Oklahoma been able to act, Catherine would be alive and well today. But because she took him and tried to do like a mother should do and take care of him, she's now dead. Everybody that's special, should be special to him in his life, is dead when they crossed him.
About all there is right now. Guys, I'm sorry. Collin is currently in custody, and it's being decided whether or not he's going to be charged as an adult. So, I will keep up with this story, though, because I'm thoroughly convinced that there's a whole lot more to this story. Before we go, can we start a conversation in the comments about who is truly at fault here? Why did they keep returning him to his mother? I do want to say, why did mom keep taking him back when he was clearly telling anybody that would listen that he was going to do this? I get, don't ever turn on your children. I would never turn on my children. So I don't want to talk shit about her. I really don't, because I've never been in that situation. Go. I hope I never ever am. I hope nobody is. But do you think that what? Did she just not believe that her son would really do something like that? That he was just talking? But he already did it to his dad. She had to be petrified. I don't know. But why did they keep sending him back? Why didn't they put him away until they could figure out what was going on? Just to turn around and say, well, we're going to let you go back, but you know what? We're going to put a rule in here that you can't do anything bad. What? What's your opinion on Collin Griffith based on everything we know so far? Please let me know in the comments below. If you're still here, thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you, and I appreciate you guys so, so, so very much. Please like, subscribe, and comment if you haven't yet, because it really helps me out, and I really, really appreciate it. And until next time, stay safe out there.